Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Adam the Fanatic, and seeing as Halloween is coming up soon, I decided it was time that we finally take a look at Costume Quest, a lighthearted RPG by Double Fine Productions. Before we get started, what sort of Halloween costumes do you remember wearing as a child? Let me know in the comments below, and then let's get started. First released in 2010 as a downloadable title for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, in Costume Quest you'll take on the role of either Reynold or his fraternal twin sister, Ren, who are arguing and bickering just before heading out to trick-or-treat. I don't know about you, but if my sisters and I had acted like this when we were around that age, we wouldn't be getting any candy that year. Regardless, we'll be playing as Ren for this review, and her brother is stuck wearing a candy corn costume as a result. After heading out to trick-or-treat, Reynold is soon captured by candy-stealing monsters that mistake him for a giant piece of candy. It's up to Ren to rescue him, whether she likes it or not. Along the way, she'll also enlist the help of two other children, Everett and Lily. It's not at all a rarity these days for games to include alternate skins to unlock for your characters, especially multiplayer titles. It's also pretty common for some of those skins to be seasonally themed, such as Halloween ones. What's not so common is for those alternate appearances to actually have an effect on gameplay. In Costume Quest, you'll have to collect various costumes, each of which have their own abilities that can be used both in and out of combat. Some are required to finish the game, while others are optional, but you'll have a grand total of 11 costumes that you can collect in the game, starting with the robot. Each costume has its own stat modifiers, with some like the Knight or Ninja being good at defending, the Statue of Liberty or the Unicorn being able to heal, and the Robot and Space Warrior being good for attacking. Each costume has a special ability that charges up over the course of a few turns, which is unique to that costume. You'll also have basic attacks, which give you a Mario RPG style prompt, wherein if you correctly do the required action, you'll gain a small power boost. Similarly, when enemies attack, you'll have the chance to block by hitting the right button to reduce damage. For the most part, that's really all there is to combat, although you can collect and equip stamps which may give you a single extra ability to use in battle. More on that in a moment. Outside of combat, things are broken up into 3 chapters. In each chapter, you'll have to go around trick-or-treating. Each house contains either an ordinary person that's passing out candy as normal, or it may have one of the monsters that's stealing all the candy. Once you visit every house in a chapter, you'll unlock a path that leads you to the boss fight. Rinse and repeat twice to finish the game. But you may not want to rush to the next chapter immediately. Within each chapter is at least one optional costume, with pieces of it hidden around, and beyond that, there are a number of other side quests which you can partake in. In each chapter, you'll have half a dozen kids that are hiding. Find them all, and you'll upgrade your bucket so that it can not only hold more candy, but also enhances your base attack for all costumes. You'll also have an apple bobbing minigame, and I don't know about you, but growing up in the 90s, I never saw anyone bobbing for apples as a kid. And this game released in 2010. Does anyone actually do this anymore? Regardless, in each chapter you'll find a shop where you can trade in your hard-earned candy for the aforementioned stamps. Each character can only equip one stamp at a time, but they allow you to do a small variety of things, including straightforward attack and defense buffs, or even giving characters new attacks, for example. It's a short little adventure. It only took me about 6 hours to go through the main game. However, if you're playing it these days, the Grubbins on Ice DLC is included. Originally a paid expansion, modern versions of the game include it at no additional charge. It doesn't do anything to drastically change the game, but it adds a little bit more of everything. It's effectively a 4th chapter with 3 additional costumes, and it even starts you off with everything you had in the base game. Once again, you'll pick one of the twins to be the main character, but this time around you'll have both of them in your party because it's Lucy's turn to get kidnapped. If you enjoyed the base game, it adds another hour and a half or so to the game without changing the formula in any meaningful way. Presentation-wise, the game does pretty well. The characters have a distinctive art style that holds up nicely, while the sound effects and music all seem quite appropriate. On the other hand, I am somewhat annoyed that, despite the fact that there's no voice acting, all the dialogue advances automatically on a timer. You have no option to slow down or speed it up. Story-wise, you know most of what you need to already. There's no reason for me to go into a spoiler segment on the matter. It's primarily written for laughs, and for the most part, it does a pretty good job of that, but there are 2 major complaints I have. Firstly, there's the twins and their fighting. Yes, siblings fight. I'm not going to pretend that I never argued with my sisters. However, the way it's handled is just so overblown and over the top that it's not even funny. Yes, it's obviously setting them up to eventually reconcile their differences as the story goes on, which is fine in concept, but it's just so ham-fisted that it ends up being annoying. And secondly, we're never given a reason for how and why the kids are able to transform into the characters they're dressed as. I don't need any in-depth explanation, but just give me something for my suspension of disbelief to work with, even if it's just as lazy as they ate a magic piece of candy. That being said, all in all, Costume Quest is quite enjoyable. It's much shorter than your average RPG, but it was never priced or pushed as a full-length title to begin with. The gameplay is simplistic, but enjoyable. Combat does start to feel a little repetitive near the end, but with the game's short length, it never feels like it overstays its welcome. The setting and writing are cute and clever, it never takes itself too seriously. While you're not likely to be blown away, it's a great little title to enjoy over the course of a weekend or two. In conclusion, I find Costume Quest to be worthy a solid 7.1 out of 10. Costume Quest is currently available for PC via Steam, GOG, and Epic. If you're interested in purchasing or learning more, links are included in the description. What about you? What do you think of Costume Quest? What Halloween-themed titles do you enjoy? If you have any questions, remarks, or opposing points of view, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. And if you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.